So yeah, I've been following a lot of the Diddy saga, Sean Combs, and it's new stuff coming out every single day, or maybe if it's the weekend, every few days, where it's just this new stuff coming out. And when I saw this guy, Courtney Burgess, who ironically looked like TD Jakes. I mean, the first time I saw him, I was like, is that TD Jakes? Like, is he turning state's evidence? But no, it just kind of looks like he could be his nephew or something like that. But how ironic that somebody that kind of looks like TD Jakes, who supposedly was Sean Combs' mentor, is somebody that is affiliated with the flash drives that had Kim Porter's words on them. So it sounded like that book that they were claiming was a fake. It isn't. And I talked about it a little bit before. I didn't read it, but I've listened to some of it. And actually one of my clients' friends, she had the book and she was like, I meant to send it to you. And I was like, no, it's all right. And then we know that they took the book off of Amazon, but the guy who is claiming that he's the one that actually put the book together and put it up for publishing on Amazon, he said it's down for now, but it's going back up, because I guess there was some copyright issues when it comes to maybe like the cover of the book, which was a picture of Kim. But it sounded like the words in the book are actually Kim's and they are real. And it doesn't have to be a book that's 500 pages long. It's so sinister. It's so much stuff in that manuscript from those flash drives. It's so dark and it's so demonic. And when we go back to last year with the lawsuit, where it's coming up on about a year since Cassie dropped her lawsuit, the lawsuit was so graphic. I mean, so graphic, from how she had to have her fingernails painted white and pouring baby oil all over her. That was in the lawsuit last year, right? And now we're hearing all the things about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, which allegedly is, I guess, like a cutter for whatever that substance is that they put on people, and it just causes them to pass out. This stuff is so dark and so wicked. It's demonic. And, for the people who say, well, the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, he was arrested for SCX trafficking and he got out on bail. He got a $10 million bail. And when Diddy offered up 50 million plus residents and giving up all the passports and some other stuff, they still denied him. They still rejected him. That's not fair. The justice system isn't fair. It's never going to be fair. It's never going to be equal. And they show you how they feel about you, even if you got money. You have money and you're black. You might be lucky if you're like, OJ and got off for taking people's lives that you were accused of but acquitted for, but yet they got you for something later and he had to serve all those years in prison for something else. Like, they're showing you that you're not equal. So why try to be on an equal playing field when it comes to wicked things, to demonic things? They really don't want you to be on an equal footing when it comes to even the good things, when you work hard and you achieve success, where you're actually making really great money and you're living in amazing neighborhoods amongst the upper crust, amongst the upper echelon. They really don't want you there anyway. So when you're doing things that are wicked and demonic, you're eventually going to come down. You're not going to be treated like them. So for people to say, well, it's not fair. Well, no, duh. It ain't fair. It never was fair. It was never meant to be fair. And for people to try to make it about the De Leon and how he came after them because he called them out for being racist. Well, it wasn't a problem when they were paying him the money to be a glorified brand ambassador, but he was putting it out there like he actually owned the liquor company. And why is it that they have to promote things that are really not great for anybody, especially the African American community? Liquor? You're promoting liquor. Yeah, people drink and whatever, but it's not good. It's not. And you're promoting that type of stuff to the African American community. And then you want to call them out for being racist. Well, heck yeah, they're racist. They're racist for even wanting to promote liquor to the African American community. And they used you, but paid you handsomely. Let's be clear. So we won't even say they used him. They paid him handsomely to promote that garbage to the African American community. And then he and Jay-Z and the others, they wanted to put out this air of black excellence. There's nothing excellent about destruction, and there ain't nothing cool about being a drunk. Nothing. And liquor is not good for you. There's a reason why a lot of the stores back in the day, they used to call the liquor stores wine and spirits. You don't see that in this day and age. All of that is by design. All of that is for a reason why they don't put the word spirits on these companies and on the buildings anymore. You might see package store. You might see they have like a nice name for the liquor store, but they don't call them spirits anymore. But that's exactly what it is. That stuff is destructive. And he was promoting that to the African American community. And then when he wanted to get in his feelings and wanted to start smelling himself and say, no, I want to be on the same equal footing as these people that are giving me the opportunity to make all this money to promote this garbage to the African American community. I want to be on the same level as you all. So I'm giving you 365 days. Like, he's calling out people. It was one of those awards. I don't watch those award shows, so I don't recall which one it was. Maybe it was the Grammys. I can't remember. Probably was. But calling them out. But yet he was treating his artists like trash over the years. So many of them have fell on hard times, have gone through a lot. A lot of them have passed away. He wasn't paying people rightly. He wasn't paying people fairly. And then when he started to feel the heat of stuff that was about to come down, which he already knew, because I told you guys that lawsuit didn't just pop out. He knew that was happening. They reached out to him before they actually filed the lawsuit. I'm quite sure she had her attorneys going back and forth with negotiations for some time, trying to make it work behind the scenes. And in his arrogance and in his pride, in his ego, and in his demonic ways, he was like, hell no, I ain't paying you nothing. And so they dropped the dime, meaning they dropped the lawsuit. And then it was public knowledge. And then he settled in less than 24 hours. You know what I mean? But God's got a way of exposing. And for him to be living the life that he was living, I just really have a problem with there being billionaires, period, but especially black billionaires. People talk about reparations all the time. And I'm not saying that God is involved in any of this mess. I'm really not even believing that. But I do believe that there should be a way of these people utilizing all the billions that they have obtained and not living this life that is of excess and really helping the community. I'm not talking about some little charitable events every now and then, or giving, some money to charity every now and then because it's just a tax write-off. It's just to lower your tax liability. But really doing more for the African American communities. It's just few of them that get to a place where they really got it like that. And then you have black people that are like really out here suffering and struggling. Yeah, some of them because of their own decisions, but it's like there has to be something that they could be doing more, and they don't do that. So when stuff starts coming down like this, cry me a river. I'm not feeling sorry for them. I'm not praying for them. I'm not doing that. So for the people who feel that is our duty to pray for these people because they got a family, they got children, they got kids. Well, he knew he had all of that when he was doing all of the stuff that he was doing. not just the demonic, wicked things that he was doing to Cassie and other people. Oh my God, the hundreds of people that are coming out. All of the stuff that he's been accused of doing. I don't know if the stuff is real or not, but it sounds plausible. It sounds like it is something that could be. And for him to be doing that type of stuff, living the type of life that he was living, I don't feel sorry for him. I'm not going to sit and pray for him and all of this other stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy. And I am so tired of seeing these people like him that claim that they love Black people, but the actions that they take are far from love for Black people. There's nothing loving about promoting things that destroy people. And then you want to put in fine print or in a fine voice at the end of the advertising if it's a commercial, or in fine print if it's a printed ad, please drink responsibly. And, to me, I just have a huge problem with that. And I've been watching the stuff regularly on Diddy. I've been watching some of the smaller content creators who've been sharing this stuff more often, just to support them over, not naming any names, over the ones that are, have the larger platforms that are talking about Diddy. Because, of course, they're going to get the views. I like to support the smaller content creators that are like staying on this stuff. I'm going to put a link in the description box to one of the content creators that I've been listening to almost every day. And he, breaks down a lot of the lawsuits. And just to hear a lot of this stuff, it's just crazy that this stuff has been going on for so long. And when I see the commercial or whatever it was with him, Cassie, Jay-Z, other people in it talking about Black excellence, there's nothing excellent about just living a life of sex and excess when people really are out here hurting and struggling, and they promote that like it's something that's great. Sean Combs is a horrible human being. And in Lil Raw's lawsuit, where he explicitly put images, screenshots from videos, just was describing a whole lot of stuff. But one of the things that sticks in my mind was how he was using TD Jakes for his image. I have a huge problem with that. I don't know if TD Jakes knew that he was using it for his image, but to be honest with you, even if he didn't see it in that way, it was financially beneficial for TD Jakes. And that's one of the reasons why I have a problem with him when it comes to the Sean Combs stuff, and him not making any type of statements on the stuff at all. I feel like him having such a large platform with so many people following him, it is really his duty to do that. And it's BS that he hasn't. I have a huge problem with that. And people flock to his ministry. They love the things that he says. To me, it's not really a ministry. It's just more like a motivational thing. And get your motivation how you get your motivation. But for me, you can't tell me that is a man of God who claims that he has some prophetic ways about him that God has, quote unquote, blessed him with, and he didn't know any of this stuff was going on. How could you be? How could you call yourself a man of God and say, I'm prophesying right now? But okay, but you didn't know any of the stuff that was going on with your mentor, with your mentee, and you're supposed to be his mentor, and he was living a life like this for decades. This isn't somebody that he just met 5 years ago and only knew what he showcased to him, but didn't know about any of these things going on. Even if he didn't know about the freak offs and the alleged assaults on minors and people who are of age, he knew that He was with Cassie and Kim. You're okay with that? But you're supposed to be a man of God. Got it. Living a double life is something serious. And for anybody to even have the mind to live a life of plurality where you're one way in public, like trying to portray yourself as something great, and you are for the people, you even so-called rename yourself love. Like, how dare you, when the Bible says God is love and he's saying his name is love? That is demonic. This man is wicked. He's wicked. He doesn't deserve our prayers. You don't pray for the devil. You don't pray that Satan gets salvation and turns to the Lord. That's never going to happen. This man is wicked. He is demonic. There's some people that God has just written off. People may not believe that, but listen, I believe he's one of those people. And I heard this man, and I may put the clip. Actually, I am going to put the clip in here. He's a preacher, Brian Carn.
No matter what P. Diddy has done, God's in love with him. Somebody needs to tell him that. You know, we live in an era now, and I might get a chance to get into it later, but we live in an era now where everybody want to get folk. Everybody want to expose somebody. But the truth of the matter is, we all here because of grace. Y'all better talk back to me in here. Everybody in here should be in jail somewhere because of some of the things you've done. But thank God for his mercy. Amen.
I felt like it was some projection in there, because there was a clip of him talking about Diddy and how people need to stop judging and all this other stuff. And it's like, dude, it sounds like you're projecting to me because you got some skeletons in your closet. And a lot of these preachers do. A lot of them, not all. I just believe the ones like him and T.D. Jakes and the others that, and not every preacher that has a large following and has a name is dark and wicked. So I'm not saying that. I don't want to put all of them in a box and all of them in the same category of, people like Diddy. Because there actually are, I do believe that there actually are a lot of great preachers out there. They preach, they believe that's their calling. They also have jobs, they have a family, and they just love people and they love the Lord. I believe that there are a lot of them out there like that, but you don't hear about those ones. Just like you don't really hear about a lot of good news. When you watch the news, it's usually the horrible things that are happening. So I do believe that there are good ones out there. Just like not every person is evil and wicked. There are good people out there. But a lot of them are trash. Like Sean Combs. Like Donald Trump. There's a lot of trash people out there. And so when I see people that are so just blind to the facts of what's going on, and they want to feel sympathy and sorrow for him, what about the people that he victimized? And when I heard this pastor say that people shouldn't be judging Diddy and a lot of us would be in jail right now if it wasn't for God. No, that's not true. A lot of us don't do the type of stuff that this man is accused of doing. A lot of us just live our lives just trying to be good, decent people. Everything ain't easy for us. Everything ain't rainbows and sunshine every day, but we do the best we can with the days that we have to be here. And we're not out here victimizing people. We're not out here robbing from people, stealing from people, taking advantage of people sexually, just doing a bunch of nasty, disgusting, gross things. So for him, supposedly a preacher, to say something like that, and I believe that video clip is from last year or maybe earlier this year. So it wasn't after the video that came out. It wasn't after the raids. It wasn't right after that. It was after just the lawsuit that came out last year with all of the things that he was accused of doing that he settled within less than 24 hours. And he was preaching about that. And it's like, are you for real right now? What God do you serve? Because I don't want to have nothing to do with that God. So just let me know. So to see people saying that people need to pray for Sean Combs, you are out of your freaking mind, okay? I will not waste my prayers on him. I got a whole lot of stuff going on in my own life that I'm praying for and praying about. I'm not going to waste my prayers and my tears on Sean Combs and his family. And from the little video clip that I saw of Quincy, who isn't even Diddy's real child. And that stuff is weird too. Like, you let me know in the comment section, because I still don't understand that. Did Sean Combs have something over Al B. Shore to get this man to give up his own child? I still will never understand that. Never understand that. And even with everything that Sean Combs has been accused of, this person, this guy, Quincy, is still claiming Sean Combs as his dad. When his real dad, who I am assuming wants to be in his life, is free as a bird and would love to connect with him. And it's just like he's putting all his focus on Sean Combs. But from that video clip of this vlog that he's creating on YouTube, you know, they're just acting like all is well. And hey, it might be in the household for right now. We'll see as each day goes by if anything's going to come down, because like I said several weeks ago, I believe it's possible that at least one of those kids may have something coming down on them. I don't know. And is it me? But the son that Misa Hilton has with Sean Combs, because I heard some stuff that's not really his son. Is it me, or does that kid look nothing like Sean Combs? I know children can look more like one parent than the other, but sometimes you got to admit there has to be like a little bit of a mixture. I know when I had my son many years ago, he was identical to me, but as he started to age and get older, he started to morph more into looking like his dad than me. He still looks like me, but he looks more like his dad now than he did when he was younger. He looked more like me when he was younger. So I'm just saying that to say there's usually a mixture in there. I don't see nothing of Sean Combs in that son that he allegedly had with Misa Hilton. What is that about? I still don't believe that is his son. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And the stuff that I was listening to that this guy Courtney Burgess was talking about when it comes to Diddy and even Snoop, I'm like, my God. I may do a reaction to that interview that I saw. I'm not going to go too much into that right now because that was kind of deep. But I'm saying when it comes to Sean Combs and the life that he was living, it was just dark and demonic. And nothing would have me waste my prayers on him or even for his children, because he knew he had those children when he was doing all of the stuff that he was allegedly doing. And when it comes to Cassie, I'm not even going to say allegedly because it's proven. The video is out there. The lawsuit was settled, even though he claimed that just because I'm settling, it doesn't mean that I'm admitting any guilt. That is legalese. It's said in most settlements that, this settlement is no indicator that the defendant is admitting any guilt in this matter. And a lot of times people will settle out of court because it's less expensive to settle out of court than it is to litigate. I mean, look at Fox News. They settled with Dominion Voting for over $700 million. They settled that out of court. Dominion Voting sued Fox News. And so if they settled out of court for over $700 million, do you know how much money they probably would have gotten if they took it to trial? Man, that's something. I'm just saying. But there's so many thoughts that I have about this Sean Combs, the state that he's in, all of the things that are coming out, this demonic dark energy, him promoting liquor, other black people like Jay-Z, like Shannon Sharp, like others, where it's like, why do you all promote terrible, horrible things to the African American community. It's not even like it's something that you just like and you're just telling people, hey, you don't have you have no affiliation nor involvement with it financially. I wouldn't even have an issue with that if you weren't profiting off of it. But it's when they profit off of things that are not good for the African American community and you got to get your own liquor. I even have an issue, honestly, with Beyonce. Like, why liquor? Why liquor? Sir Davis? Why liquor? And it just seems like recently she's been shelling out a lot of products too. The clothing stuff didn't really do too well. So she had the hair product line, Sacred. Then the fragrance. I think the fragrance actually was before the hair care line. So it's the fragrance, then the hair care line, now the liquor. And I'm just like, my God, of course, prior to that, it was the music. So she did the Renaissance, then did the Renaissance tour, then the country album. It's just stuff. Buy. But hey, her beehive, they're going to buy. And if that's what they want to do and they got the coins to do it, then so be it. I heard some people weren't paying their mortgage payments, weren't paying their rent to go to that tour, to go to one of the stops on the tour, I should say, so that they could experience the Renaissance movement. More power to you if that's what you like. If you like it, I love it. But no. I'm not even paying for nobody's music. I got a Spotify subscription, and that's the closest I'm paying for anyone's music. So I can just listen to whatever I want to listen to when I feel like listening to it, but I'm not buying anybody's album. And so clearly they're not really getting paid from the music, so they have to do other things in order to make the money. And even Beyonce, Queen Bee as they call her, even she is relegated to shelling out products so people can buy her stuff, so that she can make more money. And she and Jay-Z have a home the size of an airport. Like, that's the type of stuff I was talking about when I was talking about the billionaires and why is it that they live this life of huge excess while other people are suffering and struggling. And some may say, well, they worked hard for it. But come on now. We know that many people work really, really hard and they're not getting paid their just due. And think about it. In this, society of working where we have minimum wages and every state has a different minimum wage. Think about that. If a minimum wage did not exist, because that's by law, they have to pay you that minimum. So they would pay you less if they could legally. Just think about that. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on all of these things that were just on my mind. Guys, it's a lot. Let me know what you think about everything in the comments.